So, morning guys. So let's get started with the remaining problems in branch accounts. Let's first finish them off and then get into some other topic. So yesterday's discussion, in the previous session's discussion, if you recollect, we are done with a few problems. Let us get ahead with next set of questions in branch accounts, what is left over. Okay. So please take out 11th question. I hope you guys are able to see it on the screen. I'll read it out first. Then we will start solving the question after discussing any intricacies in it. Okay. Anil and Sunil are partners of a business having head office in Delhi and branch at Calcutta. Anil looks after the Delhi office and Sunil looks after Calcutta branch. Anil is entitled to 40% of profits made by Delhi, while Sunil is entitled to 30% of the profits at Calcutta. The balance profit or losses are shared equally. The following trial balance as on 31st December 2012 is furnished to you. Particulars, Delhi and Calcutta. Debit and credit, both amounts are given. Opening stock, purchases and returns. Goods sent to Calcutta, goods sent to Delhi. What does that mean? Goods sent by Delhi to Calcutta, the first line. Second, goods sent by Calcutta to Delhi is the second line. Goods received from Calcutta, that means it is vice versa exactly. Okay. Sales returns, expenses, customer accounts, supplier accounts, bank accounts, fixed assets, opening WDV. Then you have Calcutta branch account, Delhi head office account, capital and drawings accounts, Anil and Sunil, details are given, totals. Additional info, on 30th December 2012, Delhi head office remitted 5,000 by bank draft to Calcutta branch. The envelope was received by the branch on 2nd April 2013. Stock at cost 31st December 2012 was worth 46,000 at Delhi, 54,000 at Calcutta. Depreciation is to be provided at 10%. 10% of cash expenses relating to the head office are to be treated as overheads incurred on behalf of the branch. Prepare trading P&L account for the year ended 31st December 2012 for Delhi office and Calcutta branch in columnar form. Consolidated balance sheet of the firm as on 31st December 2012 and branch and head office accounts in respective books. Now, this is a holistic problem where he has given you details of a branch and a head office, where there are few expenses incurred by branch, there are few expenses incurred by head office, and there are branch account, there is branch account being maintained by head office and also head office account being maintained by branch. Okay. So everything is there, and he talks about intercompany adjustments also in this additional info. Okay. So let us, whenever a problem is given like this to you, what we are supposed to look here is, I will highlight some information, please see. What we are supposed to see here is, when goods are sent by one branch, the same stock should be received by the other branch. If not, that means there is some stock which is in transit. Okay. Now, if you observe here, goods sent to Calcutta, that means from Delhi it is sent. It is 50,000. However, goods received from Delhi, if you observe, okay. So in Calcutta branch, it is only 48,000. What does that mean? There is 2,000 which is in transit. Okay. Similarly, goods sent to Delhi, that means what? Calcutta branch is actually sent, but goods received from Calcutta is only 65. You need to cautiously look at both these accounts. Okay. So first thing what you're supposed to do is ensure your goods sent to branch and goods received from branch both match in both the books. For that, what you're supposed to do is you are supposed to pass the rectification entries. What are rectification entries? There is something in transit. Add that something in transit to your books of accounts. That's all. Okay. So this is something which you are supposed to do first time whenever you see a head office and branch, independent branches like this. Next. Coming to Calcutta branch account in head office books shows 5,000 of credit balance. However, Delhi head office account in Calcutta branch shows 17,000 debit balance. What does that mean? There is some transaction which has happened in between, which is not recorded, by one of these parties. Okay. So that you are supposed to carefully observe. Okay. For which he has told you some details below. So these are something which we are supposed to carefully account for correctly. That is, rectification entries have to be first passed in both these books. Only then you can go ahead with preparing your trading P&L and balance sheet. Okay. So this is the problem. Now, like how we always do, let us do this question also in an Excel sheet. Let us do this also in an Excel sheet. I hope it is visible to you all. Okay. So let us read the question and see what all accounts have to be prepared and accordingly prepare all the books. Okay. So first thing what we are supposed to do is in head office books, we are supposed to open Calcutta branch account. Okay. In HO books. Calcutta. Okay. Kolkata. In head office books, Kolkata branch account. Open particulars. Amount. Same particulars and amount. Okay. Now. Same particulars and amount. Okay. Now, let us start with it. Did he tell you about any balances given? Yes, he did. He says Calcutta branch account has a credit balance of 5,000. Okay. By balance brought down, it is 5,000. Clear? Apart from this, let us see what else has to be done. We will do that. Okay. So let that be there. Now let us open another account in branch books. Let us open head of your Delhi account. Okay. So in Delhi account, what is he stating? The opening balance is 17,000 debit balance. Okay. To balance brought down, it is 17,000. First take these balances. Okay. Then he says, now, so please see, goods sent to Calcutta, it is 50,000. However, goods received from Calcutta, it is shown as goods received from Delhi is shown as only 48,000. What does that mean? The Calcutta branch has not properly accounted. That is, to the extent of 2,000, it's still in transit. So what should I do? In the receiving end, that is, in Calcutta's books, I'm supposed to record the transaction. I'm talking, I think I haven't shared the screen. I'll share this question. Yeah, please see. So goods sent to Calcutta is mentioned as 50,000. However, goods received from Delhi is mentioned as 48,000. Okay. So In Delhi's books, that is the sendor's books, it is properly accounted, but receiver, he did not record for 2000. So for the 2000, let us first write a rectification entry and bring it into books of accounts now. Okay. So I'll go back to the Excel sheet, write down a working note 1. Working note 1 for goods sent by HO but in transit. But in transit, accounting entry would be goods in transit account debit. It is 2000 to HO account. Okay. HO account, it is 2000. Clear? Now, in whose books am I supposed to write this? In branch books. Yes or no? In branch books, in head office account, I am supposed to write. So it is by goods in transit. By goods in transit, it is 2000. Clear? Next, what else? What other adjustments do we have? Please look at the other adjustments we have. As I just mentioned, you have to look at the other additional info which he has given. He says on 31st December, Delhi HO remitted 5,000 by bank draft to Calcutta branch. The envelope was received by the branch on 2nd January 2013. What does that mean? There is some cash in transit. Who gave that cash? Head office gave, but branch did not account for it. Branch did not account for it. That means I'll have to record for that amount. Yes or no? So let us write working note 2. Let us write working note 2 for DD or what is that actually? Yeah, bank draft. Bank draft deposited by HO, not received by branch. Okay. So here what is it? It is basically cash in transit for me. Yes or no? Cash in transit account debit. It is 5,000 to HO account. To HO account, value is 5,000. Okay. Again, since this is an entry which is supposed to be passed in branch books, because the head office has actually accounted for it. That's why its balance is lesser, 5,000 only. But for me, it is 17,000. Okay. So I should reduce that. Hence, it is by cash in transit. It is 5,000. Next, let us see what other adjustments are possible. Let us see what other adjustments are possible. Okay. So read the question once again. Depreciation to be provided is 10%. So let us not bother about it. Now, just like how we did for goods sent by Delhi branch to Calcutta branch, same way you are also supposed to do for goods sent by Calcutta branch to Delhi branch. Please see carefully. Goods sent to Delhi, it is 70,000. I hope you guys are able to see 70,000. I am moving the cursor there. However, Delhi received only 65. Delhi received only 65. That means to the extent of 5,000, it is in transit. For whom? For Delhi branch. For Delhi branch. We are supposed to account for that 5,000 now. Okay. So let us do that. By, so in Delhi's books, we are supposed to write, in HO's books, Kolkata branch account, by goods in transit. By goods in transit, it is 5,000. Okay. Now at this juncture, if you see, the credit balance of HO account is 10,000, and the debit balance of the credit balance of Kolkata account in HO account is 10,000, and the debit balance of Delhi account in Kolkata branch is again the same 10,000. Right now, these are matched. What we did till now is only rectification entries we have passed. Hereafter, we can go ahead. Okay. Hereafter, we can go ahead with whatever adjustments he has stated. Clear? Now, let us go. Let us go and see what other adjustments we are supposed to do. Now, so stock at 31st December 2012 was worth so and so, so and so. Let us come to it little later. Depreciation is to be provided at 10%. That also let us come to it little later. 10% of cash expenses relating to HO are to be treated as overheads incurred on behalf of branch. Now, first of all, look at the expenses incurred. Expenses incurred by HO is how much? It is 28,000. Out of 28,000, 10% is something incurred for branch is what he is saying. That means I will have to add it to my branch account. Yes or no? So go back in HO books. In HO books, two expenses. If I take to Calcutta branch, it is 2,800 rupees. Okay. Same way in branch for Delhi account by expenses, it is 2,800. Okay. By doing this, what happens is we got to know what are the closing balances of head office and branch. Okay. Now let us close each of these accounts now. Total to balance carried down. It is going to be this minus this. 7,200 is the balance. Okay. Same way, let us do for branch also, in the branch books also. So total is 17,000. Okay. So closing balance is going to be this minus sum of all the three above. So by balance carried down. Okay. So these are the values what I want. Clear? So now first thing what we did is we have cleared the reconciliations part. Reconciliation part is what we have cleared now. Okay. So I'm just setting up the look. Okay. So we are done with reconciliation part. We have both these accounts properly done. Now what else is pending for us? We are only supposed to write the details of goods in transit and all. Okay. Now after we are done with this, you are supposed to see the revised balances of branch books. Revised balances of branch books. If you observe, you have goods in transit. The goods in transit is now added to your goods. Yes or no? So that means goods received from HO will have a revised balance because of this entries what we have passed now. Okay, because of this 2,000 what I have entered here and all, it's going to increase the value. That means so end of this part, I'll just write down here. Okay, the revised balances in branch books shall be: number one, your goods received from head office. This will have a balance of, earlier you had Earlier you had 48,000, yes or no? Now you have got 2,000. So it is going to be 50,000 revised balances. This is what you are supposed to use for your calculations going forward. Same way, the closing stock also will change. Closing stock with branch. Closing stock with branch, what will happen? He has given in the question in the bottom stating that it is 54,000. Now 54,000 will become 56,000 because you added 2,000. Okay. So that is equal to 54,000 plus 2,000, 56,000. Clear? This is in the books of branch. This is in the books of branch. So let us now go ahead with head office books. In head office books, revised balances, let us take. Okay, same way, goods received from branch is going to now have a balance of, earlier it was 65,000. Now I have added 5,000 to it because goods in transit is added, yes or no? So it's going to be 65,000 plus 5,000. Same way, closing stock with branch is going to be, you already have right now how much? Only 46,000 is given. Okay, so it is equal to 46,000 plus 5,000 which you have got now. So it is going to be 51,000 of revised balance. Clear? So these are the balances of your stock and closing stock, your goods received from branch and closing stock in your head office account. Now, same way, you have revised balances with respect to cash also. Cash also revised balance is there because you passed one entry with respect to cash received from head office, yes or no? So let us mention it there, mention it here itself. Okay. Cash balance. Cash balance, it's going to be, there is 5,000 what you have received. Okay. 5,000 is what you have received. Let us now see the balances. So in the question he says bank account balance, it is 70,000 for head office and 6,000 credit for Calcutta branch. Okay, so this is basically negative. Okay, negative for bank branch. Okay, so we are supposed to adjust that correctly. Bank balance is now going to be is equal to minus 6,000 plus 5,000. Okay, it's going to be minus 1,000. It is correct only because it is actually negative. That means entity is having, the branch account is having an OD account. Hence he is stating that it is negative 6,000. It's in credit side. It's in credit side, which indicates that it could be an OD account. If it is OD account, it is negative 6,000. When I add 5,000 of positive to it, it becomes negative 1,000. That's what I'm showing here. Okay. So cash balances are also done. Now that we are ready with all these items, let us go ahead with preparing. Trading P&L account for each of these branches. Okay. So let us prepare like this: particulars and two columns for each of these branches, one for head office and one for branch. Let us do particulars, HO and branch, same columns. Let's maintain for others also. Okay. Now, to start with, you're supposed to take purchases. You're supposed to take purchase because both of them have got their own independent purchases. Purchase and returns both are there. Okay. So let us take carefully. Purchases of Delhi is 1,80,000 and returns is 10,000. For Calcutta, it is 2,75,000 and returns is 50,000. So let us take net off. Let us take net off two purchases. It is going to be 1,70,000 and 2,60,000. Okay, 2,60,000. Next, two goods sent to branch. Okay, two goods sent to goods received from branch. In fact, goods received from branch. Okay, so if you observe receipts wise, if you see oh, by the way, we missed out to take opening stock. Let us take opening stock. Opening stock of head office is given as 30,000 and 40,000 for branch. Okay, purchases we have taken net of returns, and then now we are recording the goods received from other offices. Now please carefully see, for head office, the goods received from branch is given here. The goods received from branch is given here as 70,000. Okay, so it is 70,000. So for branch it is 50,000. Yes or no? Same way, vice versa. Buy goods sent to branch or head office, the other office. So head office actually sent 50,000, but branch sent 70,000. Okay. Both vice versa we are supposed to take. Clear? So apart from this, what else is there? We also have sales. By sales, let us take net. Let us take sales net. He has given sales as net of returns 3 lakhs and 3,50,000. Okay. So let us take the same values, 3 lakhs, 3,50,000. Clear? And apart from this closing stocks, we have revised closing stocks. By closing stock, revised closing stocks we do have now. Okay. Revised closing stocks are, so for head office, the revised closing stock is 51,000. Okay. Let me change it. Closing stock. And this is it. Okay. And closing stock of branch is going to be 56,000. Done. Now with this info, let us go ahead and identify the gross profit. Okay. To GP, it is going to be so 1,31,000 and 1,26,000. These are my gross profits. Okay. These are very important. These will be now transferred to your P&L account. So we are right now, what we are doing is we are preparing trading P&L account. Trading profit and loss account for Anil and Sunil. Okay. This is what we are doing. Please do not bother the dog barks outside. Okay. Now, by gross profit, 1,31,000 and 1,26,000. Okay. Now let us take all the expenses what he has mentioned. Let us take the expenses. To expenses. If you observe, I am given there expenses to the tune of 28,000 and 39,000. 28,000 and 39,000. However, he has stated that out of 28,000, 2,800 pertains to branch. Yes or no? So I'll have to add the 2,800 to my 39,000 for branch, and in head office I should deduct 2,800. Okay. So it's going to be 28,000 minus 2,800. And for branch, it is going to be 39,000 plus 2,800, which is 41,800. Okay. So this is with the expenses. Then to depreciation. To depreciation, he says in the question that at the bottom of the question, depreciation is to be provided at 10% is what he says. Now look at fixed assets. 50,000 and 80,000 is what he has given. That means 10% of 50,000 is 5,000, 80,000 is 8,000. Okay. So to depreciation, 5,000 and 8,000. That's all. Then what else other expenses do we have? I don't really see any other expenses. Others are only customer accounts, which means they are nothing but your debtors. Supplier accounts indicates creditors. That's all. Okay. So nothing else is supposed to be recorded. So now we can go ahead with arriving at the profits. Okay. So let us now go ahead and finish off the profits. Okay. To net profit. Net profit. We are only calculating the net profit right now. We are not stating that this is what goes to balance sheet. Okay. Because he has given you some percentage classification and all for each of these branches. We are supposed to do that working. So we are yet to do that. Let us do. Okay. So net profit total minus sum of these two. Same apply for your branch also. So your net profit is basically 10,876,200. Now for these two numbers, he has given you a detailing about how that money has to be distributed as profit between both of these parties. Now let us read the para above the question. The first para, he says, Anil is entitled to, please read, Anil is entitled to 40% of the profits made at Delhi, while Sunil is entitled to 30% of profits to Calcutta. Profits at Calcutta. The balance profits are shared equally. The balance profits are shared equally. That means with respect to Delhi office, first I am supposed to give away 40% to Anil, and the balance will be how much? Balance is 60%. Out of 60, again Anil will get 30 because balance is distributed equally. No, balance is distributed equally. So let us put that in a table. Let us put that in a table. So now what we will do is distribution of profits for each branch. Okay. Distribution of profits for each branch. Before that, let us okay. Clear? So this is your trading P&L account which you paid. Now let us go ahead for distribution of profits for each of these branches. So what I'll do is I'll take particulars and profits in each branch, ratio, okay, ratio, and then Anil and Sunil. These are the columns what I am taking. Okay. So let's do. So I have Delhi branch. I have Delhi branch. The profits are 1,800,000, and I have Kolkata branch, and the profits are 76,200. Okay. Ratios, if you observe for Delhi, what does he state? First of all, 40 goes to 40 goes to, so I'll put it down, then we will take the formula here. Okay. So Anil gets 40 out of 100, and again out of 100, if 40 is gone, 60 is left. Out of 60, 30 is again going to Anil only. Out of 60, again 30 goes to Anil only, because he says 50% is shared, remaining amount is shared equally between these two parties. Okay. So totally what happens is, for Anil it's going to be 40 plus 30, which is 70 is to 30. This is the ratio. Okay. $70 to $30 is the ratio. So for Anil, it's going to be profit into 0.7. For Sunil, it's going to be profit into 0.3. Clear? Same way, Kolkata branch. If you observe, Kolkata branch, 30% goes to Sunil. 30% goes to Sunil. And he says balance 70% is distributed between Anil and Sunil equally. That means Sunil will get in the remaining 70 again 35%. Yes or no? So the total profit what he gets from Calcutta branch is 30 plus 35, which is 65. That means for Anil it is going to be 35 and Sunil it is going to be 65. Yes or no? So it's going to be 76,200 into 0.35 for Anil. Okay, 0.35 for Anil, and for Sunil it is going to be into 0.65. This is the profit sharing ratio for each of these fellows. Clear? Now total, let us take. Total is going to be this and this. So these are the totals. Okay. So this also, let us put it in a table. Okay. So this is the distribution of profit for each branch. Now that we are done with each of these, we can go ahead with preparing the balance sheet, for which I want account balances. Now in the question, if you observe in the bottom, he has given you about their capital balances and drawings. For which you are supposed to add this amount of profits. Okay. So that is what we are supposed to do. So let us prepare calculation of capital balances for each partner. Okay. So you have particulars, Anil, Sunil. Okay. Now please take capital given. Capital given is actually for each of the branch he has given you 83,000 is Anil's capital in Delhi branch, and 35,000 in Calcutta branch. Okay. Both together we can take, which is going to be 1,18,000 for Anil. Okay. 1,18,000. And same way for Sunil, if you see, it is 40,000 and 70,000, which is 1,10,000. Okay. 1,10,000. Less drawings. Please see. Drawings of Anil are 30,000 and 4,000. Okay. which is 34,000. And for Sunil, if you see, drawings are 5,000 and 25,000, which is 30,000. Okay, minus 30,000. Apart from that, you have got freshly the profits. Okay, so we are supposed to add those profits for each of these fellows. So for Anil it is 97,230, and for Sunil it is 79,770. Okay, so on adding these, let us now see net capital balances would be lakh and 81,230 and lakh and 59,770. These are your net capital balances. Okay, let us now go ahead and prepare the balance sheet. We are almost done with everything now. Okay, let us now go ahead and prepare the balance sheet of Delhi and Kolkata branch. Independently, let us first do, then let us think of consolidation. Okay. So anyways, he has given you full data here itself. We can prepare in a single shot for both the head office and branch together. Okay. So let's do liabilities and amount, assets, amount. Okay. So liabilities start with capital. Capital, if you see, you have Anil and you have Sunil. Okay. Anil is going to be lakh and 81,230 and Sunil is going to be lakh and 59,770. Capitals we have taken. Apart from that, what else do we have? In the question, he has given you your creditors details are given. Yes or no? Creditors. Creditors for both we are supposed to take. HO, it is given as I'm taking independently so that we'll have a proper control. Okay. So please see in the question, creditors, that is supplier accounts. If you see, it is 32,000 and 2,000 positive and 51,000 and 1,000 positive. Okay. So we are supposed to take them independently. So these are basically like you have received some money in advance. You have received some money in advance, and there are few who have maintained cash with you. Okay, maintain cash with you. So let us take net of all this. For suppliers, let us take it as 32,000 minus 2,000, which is 30,000, and 51,000 minus 1,000, 50,000. Total 80,000. Let us take. Okay. So for HO, it is going to be 32,000 minus 2,000. For branch, it is 51,000 minus 1,000, 50,000. Clear? Next, let us go ahead with the cash balance, that is bank account balance. If you observe, it is negative 6,000 in branch. Please recollect our earlier discussions. We have already added 5,000 to it and made it 1,000 rupees of negative. Okay. So let us bring that here. Bank OD. Bank OD, let us go back and link it so that you will have a recollection when you look through this question again. Okay. So it is minus 1,000. Bank OD is 1,000. Clear? Then what others do we have? What other accounts do we have? Let us now get into assets side. Assets, fixed assets, let us take. Net of depreciation we are supposed to take for HO and for branch. Both we are supposed to take. So for HO, assets, if you observe, you have 50,000 and 80,000. That means 50,000 and 80,000 minus 5,000 and 8,000. Yes or no? So it is going to be 45,000 and 82,000. So 45,000 for head office, 72,000 for branch. Okay. Then what else do we have? Opening stock does not come. Purchase and returns is all done. Sales and returns all done. Expenses are done. Customer accounts is what we are supposed to take. Okay. Again, customer accounts also, if you observe here, I'll share this question again for you. Customer accounts, I have 65,000 of receivable and 4,000 is negative. That means I have to give to my customer. Okay. Same way, 71,000 is receivable and 3,000 is payable to customer. So let us knock off all these. Let us knock off 64,000 minus 4,000 for head office. Okay. So let me do it. Next, debtors. Debtors again, same head office and branch. Okay. So for head office, it is 64,000 minus 4,000. Okay. So for branch, it is 71,000 minus 3,000. Okay. So 68,000. These are your debtors. Clear? Then what else do we have? We have bank account. Head office has got bank account. Yes or no? HO bank account. HO bank account is properly accounted. It is 70,000. Let us take it directly. Okay. I'll put it down so that you'll differentiate. Clear? Apart from this, we have closing stock which is supposed to be taken. Closing stock, we calculated revised numbers, if you recollect. Okay. Revised numbers we have. So revised numbers of closing stock are 51,000 and 56,000. Okay. Closing stock, again, head office and branch. So head office closing stock revised is actually, I have already prepared that above. We will link it correctly so that you would not go wrong anywhere. Okay. Closing stock of head office is 51,000 and for branch it is 56,000. Clear? So with this we are done with all the accounts. Let us see whether the accounts are getting tallied or not. Okay. So this is going to be a 1,000 because it is a credit amount. Directly I can take 1,000. That's all. Okay. So amounts total is going to be 4,22,000. Yay. It got tallied. Okay. So with this, we are done this problem also. Let us now go ahead to the two problems which you have left in between regarding foreign branches. Okay. I hope you guys understood what we are doing and how we are doing. Okay. Let us look at the remaining two questions now. Yeah. Let us look through the fourth question now. I hope you guys are able to see the screen. The question on the screen. I'll read out the question. Then we will discuss what has to be done and go ahead with solving the answer. Okay. So fourth question. An Indian company, Moonstar Limited, has a branch at Virginia, USA. The branch is a non-integral foreign operation of the Indian company. The moment you read it, what should trigger in your mind? The first important thing is all items in your P&L will be translated using average, except for opening balance. And then all balance sheet items will be translated only in closing rate. Okay, so that's what you should get in your mind. Then the trial balance of branch as at 31st March 2012 is as follows. Particulars, USD numbers are given. Office equipment, furniture, stock, purchases, sales, goods sent from head office, salaries, carriage inward, rent, rates and taxes, insurance, trade expenses, head office account, sundry debtors, sundry creditors, cash at bank, cash in hand. These are the values which are given. Okay. Now, out of all these values, if you carefully observe, there is only one item called opening stock, that is $22,400 debit balance is there. This alone gets converted using opening balance. Apart from that, there are assets and liabilities and also your expenses and incomes. Expenses and incomes will be converted in your average rate, and all other items will be converted in closing rate. Okay. So let us see in the bottom what is other information he has given. The following further information is as provided. Salaries outstanding $400. Depreciate office equipment and furniture and fixtures at 10% per annum at written down value. The head office sent goods to branch for 15,000, 15 lakh 80,000. Head office shown an amount of 20 lakh 50,000 due from branch. Stock on 31st March 2013, $21,500. There was no transit item either at the start or at the end of the year. On 1st April 2010, when the fixed assets were purchased, the rate of exchange was 43 to $1. On 1st April 2011, the rate was 47 per dollar. On March 31st, 2012, the rate was 50 per dollar. Average rate during the year is 45 per dollar. Okay, prepare TB incorporating adjustments giving converting dollars into rupees. Trading P&L account for the year ended 31st March 2012 and balance sheet on the date depicting the profitability and net position of the branch as would appear in the books of Indian company for the purpose of incorporating in the main balance sheet. Now this is the question. First of all, let us understand what has to be done. What has to be done? You should convert your existing trial balance into Indian rupees trial balance, that is USD trial balance into Indian rupees trial balance. Till the time you do that, don't bother about the additional info which he has given you. Okay. Later, let us think about all the salaries outstanding and all that stuff. Okay. So first, what we will do is we will first convert this entire balance sheet, the trial balance into Indian rupees, and then think about what has to be done. Now, since this is a rapid revision class, let me not take too much of time in explaining the instances here. I will quickly take you through what has to be done for each of these. Depreciation, after you convert, apply the rates. Salaries outstanding, again, after you convert, identify what is the equivalent amount for outstandings, recognize that as outstanding. Then he says goods sent to branch 15 lakh 80,000. It's in Indian rupees. It's in Indian rupees. Okay. So for Indian rupees value, you are supposed to add it to your branch so that it matches. Okay. And head office shows an amount of 20 lakh 50,000. 20 lakh 50,000. Now, why did he give you head office sent goods to branch 15 lakh 80,000? Because in the question he will be showing goods sent from branch from HO 32,000. You are not supposed to apply rate against this. Instead, what you are supposed to do is directly take this value of 15 lakh 80,000. That's what his intention in doing that is. Okay. Second, in your branch accounts, head office account is there for $45,600. Don't convert it. Don't convert it. Instead, take directly 20 lakh 50,000. That's all. Okay. 20 lakh 50,000 should be directly applied because these are items which have corresponding accounts in head office which are correctly maintained. In which case you are supposed to take them as it is. Clear? So this is the subject what we are supposed to be cautious about. Okay. So having said about this, let us now start with each of these items. Okay. So I'll open the Excel sheet again. So this is fourth problem. Particulars. debit amounts and credit amounts in USD. Okay. Conversion rate. Okay. Conversion rate and debit and credits in INR. So this is what we have, our columns we would need. Okay. So what I'll do is, since I'm doing it in Excel, I'll take that liberty of pulling them down all at a single shot. Okay. But you guys can't do that, I know. Okay. So so these are the items what we have taken. All the items. So office equipment has got a debit balance. Furniture and fittings has got a debit balance. Okay. So all these items as it is, let us convert and then see. Now office and equipment, if you observe, we are right now using uh, non-integral method. The moment it is non-integral method, all your balance sheet items are supposed to be converted using closing rate only. Okay. So closing rate is going to be the conversion rate. If you see in the question, he says in the balance, in the information given below in the para 7 below the trial balance, he says opening rate is 47 and closing rate is 50, average rate is 45. Okay. So what I need for assets and liabilities is 50. Okay. So it is going to be 50 what I would use. Furniture and fittings also 50. Stock opening balance it is. Opening rate is what I need. Opening rate of your financial year is 47. Okay. Opening rate is 47. And then purchases, if you observe, purchases is basically a current your nominal account. All nominal accounts you take average rate which he has mentioned as 45. Okay. So 45 let us take. Sales is nominal 45 and then goods sent from HO, don't apply any rate, not applicable. Don't apply any rate. Directly we will take the value which is given in the additional info given for us. Okay. Salaries please take as it is. So salaries he has mentioned as 3,200 and rate applicable is average rate 45. Carriage inward if you observe, carriage inward again is average rates. Rents, rates and taxes average rate. Insurance average rate. Trade expenses average rate. Head office account not applicable because you are supposed to take directly what is given to us there. Okay. Then sundry debtors is asset. Asset we are supposed to take closing balance. Liability closing balance. Cash in hand closing balance. Cash at bank, cash in hand, both closing balances. Okay. So these are the rates which are applicable and INRs let us now convert. INRs let us now convert. It is going to be this into 50. Okay. So let us apply that. Okay. So furniture and fittings, it is 3,200. Okay. And then stock you have taken on opening rate. Okay. And goods sent to head office, you are not supposed to apply this rate. Instead, take directly from your question. It is 15,80,000 mentioned. Okay. So let us take 15,80,000. Salaries is again rate application. All these items rate application. So head office account, again, don't apply any rates. Instead, take directly the value which is given there, 20,50,000. Okay. And then again apply rates. Okay. Okay. So for credit items also, please do the same way. So you have few credit items, apply this same thing. So with this, all items are done. You can take total of all these items. Okay. So you have a difference here. You have a difference here. Don't worry, we are not yet done with this actually. Okay. Now, if you carefully observe with respect to office equipment, what did he tell you? He's supposed to take 10% as depreciation. Yes or no? So office equipment 48,000, though it is given there, you are supposed to take depreciation to the extent of 10%. So now what I'll do is I'll add one more line here for depreciation of office equipment. Okay. So it is basically this into 10%, which is 4,800. Okay. So I'll save it here. Okay. So your equipment account will now reduce, yes or no? Because if you are taking depreciation as a separate line item in your trial balance, your original equipment value also will reduce. Okay. So 48,000 minus 4,800 you are supposed to take. Okay. So same way, apply the same formula for this also. Next, for furniture fittings also same process. Depreciation on furniture. Depreciation on furniture. What is it? It's going to be 320. Okay. So 320, if it is the depreciation, it is going to be 3,200 minus 320. Okay. So again, both copy. Clear? Next. Read through each of these items. If there is any impact, let us see. Okay. Stock, opening stock does not have any impact. Purchases do not have any impact. Sales do not have any impact. Goods, already we have recorded the value which is given in head office books. Okay. Salaries, please see, he has given you a point stating that salaries outstanding are 400. What does that mean? It is given as an item for you in the additional info. That means this is not at all accounted in your trial balance. Okay. So what we are supposed to do is we are supposed to add 3,200 to salaries, sorry, 400 to salaries and make it 3,600 and add an additional line item on the credit side for $400. Okay. So what we will do is I'll add it there itself. Salaries, I will add 400, it has become 3,600, and salaries outstanding, I would make it 400 on the credit side. Okay, 400 on the credit side. Now, if I take 400 salaries on the credit side, salaries outstanding is basically a liability account, yes or no? If it is liability account, I am supposed to apply only closing rate, okay, 50. Okay, so let me apply this rate now. It is going to be 20,000 here. Clear? Is there anything else we are supposed to look for? So please see. I think we are done with all the items except for closing stock. Anyways, closing stock will be done out of the trial balance. Okay. So please see what is the difference between these two accounts. So the totals are 1 crore 3,64,800 and 98,000. Okay. So that means the difference between these two, if you observe, it is actually 4,66,800. Yes or no? Now it is on the credit side. It is on the credit side. An excess amount has come for you. Okay. An excess amount has come for you on the credit side. So which means there is a profit for you. Okay. There is a profit for you. This is basically exchange gain on translation. Okay. Exchange gain on translation. Now you need to be cautious about this account. This account, if it is in an integral method of accounting, integral operations, in such case that exchange gain or loss is taken to P&L account. If it is non-integral, we take this entire amount to an account called foreign currency translation reserve. Okay. So right now this amount is supposed to be parked in an account called foreign currency translation reserve in the balance sheet. Clear? So till that time we need not touch it also. Okay. So now that it is all done, so let's go ahead. Okay. Let's go ahead and now let us prepare trading P&L account. Clear? So I'll prepare trading P&L account a little aside so that this format does not get disturbed. Okay. Particulars, amount, again particulars in amount. Okay. Now let us start with trading P&L account. Opening balance is what we need. Opening stock. Opening stock we have already calculated. Let us take amounts from your trial balance only directly. Okay. So opening stock, we have taken it as 10,52,800. Okay. Opening stock is 10,52,800. Then purchases. To purchases, again, let us go and take what we have in trial balance. It is 43,20,000. Then what other items do we have? We have goods received from head offices or no? To goods received from HO. So it is actually number what we have directly taken, which is 15,80,000. Directly we have taken. Okay. Apart from this, please take down all direct expenses. If you observe direct expenses, you are given carriage inward 18,000. Yes or no? Carriage inward is there. I don't think any other expenses are there which are direct expenses. Others are something which go to P&L only. Okay. So let us take carriage inward. Carriage inward is going to be 18,000. Done. That's it. Now let us go to the credit side. Buy sales values. Let us take 74,88,000. Okay. And then we have buy closing stock. By closing stock. Now look at your question carefully. He says stock on 31st March 2013 is 21,500. Okay. Now what we are supposed to do is this 21,500 should be converted using closing rate only. Okay. So it is going to be 21,500 into 50 closing rate. So it is 10,75,000. So with this, your trading account is over. Let us take total. To which you are supposed to make all the expenses. Okay. So make all the expenses. To salaries you have. To salaries you have. How much is the salaries value? We created there even by adding the amount of outstanding also. Okay. So it is 1,62,000. That's all. Clear? Then we have rent. To rent. Again, please take the amount directly. Rent it is 36,000. Then what else do we have? To insurance we have. To insurance, please take here. Insurance is 18,000. To trade expenses we have, which is going to be 18,000. Okay. And then you have depreciation. To depreciation on machinery you have one, and to depreciation on furniture also you have. Furniture also you have. Okay. So take both of those. So you have depreciation on office equipment, which is machinery, and on furniture, if you observe, on furniture depreciation is 16,000. Okay. I think with this, all the items are done. All the items are done. Now let us go ahead with totaling. So to net profit, it is going to be total minus sum of all these. So net profit, what you have got is 11,02,200. Okay. So this is your net profit. Clear? I hope you guys are able to follow. So if we are done with this, we can go ahead with balance sheet now. We can go ahead with balance sheet. Let's do it balance sheet here itself. Okay. So balance sheet of, who is this? Virginia branch. Okay. Of Virginia branch, we are doing in Indian rupees. Okay. So liabilities amount, assets amount. Okay. Now, let us go ahead with each of the items now. If you carefully see, capital head office details are already known to us, yes or no? Okay. Head office account is already known. So it is 20 lakh 50,000, yes or no? In branch account, in branch balance sheet, you will not have capital account. It is only head office's investment, that's all. Okay. So that is only your capital account. To that, add your net profit. Okay. So net profit, what you have got is 11 lakh 2,200. That's all. Okay. These are your actual, capital balances. That's all. Then you can take any reserves if you have. In this problem, you have only one reserve called FCTR, foreign currency translation reserve. Okay. Foreign currency translation reserve. So the value is 4,66,800. Okay. 4,66,800. And then let us look at liabilities, what we have. If you recollect, there is trade payables for us. Trade payables. Trade payables, let us take it here. It is 3,40,000. And apart from that, salaries payable are there. Okay. Salaries payable are going to be 20,000. That's all. Okay. Now let us come to asset side. I don't think there is anything left in the liability side. Let's come to asset side. You have machinery, that is your equipment. Okay. Machinery. Equipment, you already calculated net of depreciation. Okay. In the beginning itself, office equipment, it is 21,60,000. Take it directly. Same way, furniture. Furniture also, you have calculated net of depreciation handy. Okay. So take it directly, which is 1,44,000. Okay. Then what other items do you have? You have cash. Okay. You have cash. So let us take that value. Cash in hand is 1 lakh. Cash in bank. Bank is also given separately. Oh, cash in bank is 1 lakh. Cash in hand is 20,000. Okay. Okay. Cash in hand, cash at bank are there. Then you have trade receivables. Trade receivables are debtors 4,80,000. Okay. Trade receivables are there. Then what else do we have? You have closing stock. Closing stock. Already you have calculated that in your trading account. Okay. So I think with this, all items are done. All items are done. Let us total both the sides of the balance sheet. It is 39,79,000, 39,79,000. Balance sheet got tallied. Okay. So this is how we do. Actual difficulty is only preparing the trial balance. Luckily, since I am doing it in Excel sheet, I did it in hardly 20 minutes now. But for you to do that, trial balance alone might take time. Once you are done with it, preparing final accounts is no big deal. You guys know it for quite some time. You have been doing it in your +1, +2, then your foundation. You have been doing it. So this is preparation of financial statements is not difficult in a branch, independent branch, foreign branch. What is difficult is converting the financials. That's all. Okay. So with this, we are done with one more problem, and we are left with last problem for the session, which is I think it is 5th or 6th question. Let me see. Yeah, 6th question. I'll read out first, then we will get into the solution. Okay. Yeah. Let's start with the last question, the 6th question here. ABCD Limited, Delhi has a branch in New York. I think you are able to see the question on the screen, which is an integral foreign operation of the company. At the end of 31st March 2013, the following ledger balances have been extracted from the books of accounts of the Delhi office and New York branch. That means he has given you both Delhi as well as New York. Okay. So he has given share capital reserves, land, building, building depreciation reserve, plant depreciation reserve, trade receivables, stock opening stock, branch stock reserve, then cash and bank balances, purchase and sales, goods sent to branch, managing director salary, wages and salaries, rent, office expenses, commission receipts, branch hedge current accounts, total. The following information is also available. Stock as on 31st March 2013, Delhi is 2 lakhs, New York $10, all stock received from Delhi. Head office always sent goods to branch at cost plus 25%. Provision is to be made for doubtful debts at 5%. Depreciation is to be provided on building at 10% and on plant and machinery at 20% on written down values. You are required to convert the branch trial balance into rupees using the following rates of exchange: opening, closing, average, and for fixed assets there is a specific rate given. The moment for fixed assets a rate is given, what does that mean? Even for depreciation, you are supposed to use the same rate. Okay. So to prepare the trial balance and profit and loss account for the year ended 31st March 2013, showing to the extent possible head office results, branch results separately. Yeah. So this is the background set across. Now let us use this. Let us use this. First, let us prepare the trial balance of New York in Indian rupees. Okay. So before I do that, I'll copy down all this information here into the Excel sheet what I have. Okay. So we're at sixth problem. So I have taken all the numbers as it is. Okay. So the first few are basically Delhi amounts are in rupees. So this is particulars. And this is debit rupees and credit rupees. This is for Delhi in rupees and New York in dollars. Okay. Debit and credits. So these two, let me merge and center. These two merge and center. These two merge and center. Yeah. Now. So let us start with each of these in New York in dollars. So we need conversion rate, what is supposed to be used, and INR, debit INR and credit INR. Okay. So share capital need not convert it because it's only for holding a Delhi branch. It's not applicable for New York. Even reserves and surplus, land is also not there, building is also not there. Okay, so till here it is zero. Till here it is zero. Then if you observe, we have plant and machinery for which he has specifically told that 45 is the rate which is supposed to be used. Okay. And then even on depreciation also 45 is only supposed to be used, right? Next, trade receivables is basically your monetary item. So monetary items, we are supposed to take closing rates, yes or no? What is the closing rate? Closing rate is 55. Trade receivables and trade payables, it is supposed to be closing rate. So let us take 55. And then stock on 1/4/2012 is given, which is opening stock. Opening stock, you're supposed to take opening rate. Opening rate is 50. Okay. So take 50. And then branch stock reserve is there. Branch stock reserve, we would not apply anything. Okay. So it is basically only in holding company. It's not, it's only in Indian entity. It's not in branch at all, not applicable. Okay. Then cash and bank we have, which are again closing rate supposed to be applied, which is 55. Okay. Purchase and sales average rate is supposed to be taken. So it is 52, which is given. And then goods sent to branch, you are supposed to take directly you're supposed to take. We will not apply any rates here. And then managing director salary is there, which is not part of any of your branch, not applicable. You have wages and salaries, which is actually a nominal account. So items which fall into P&L other than opening balance, opening stock, everything is nominal rate, your average rate only 52. Rent average rate, office expenses average rate, commission receipts is also income average rate. Okay. Commission receipts also average rate. And then you have branch and HO balances here. These again, I would apply my own values. Whatever is given in head office, that is what I'll take. Okay. So considering this, let us now convert it into Indian rupees. So share capital does not apply at all. 0, reserves 0, land 0, building 0, depreciation on building is also 0. Now plant, if you see, it is supposed to be calculated 100 into 45 should be taken. Okay. Depreciation reserve on plant is going to be 20 into 45. Okay. So these are supposed to be applied directly on all these numbers. Let us take same way here also. Let us later on delete items which do not have any value. Okay. That's it. Okay. So we have taken all the numbers which have got values. Now there are few items where we have taken NA. What does NA mean? We are trying to convey that these are numbers which are supposed to be taken from head office books, or else there is no corresponding number for it in branch at all. Okay. So, so if you observe branch stock reserve, this is something which is there only in head office books. It does not have any corresponding number in branch at all. Okay. So you need not take anything here. Then you have goods sent to branch, which is 1500 in Indian rupees in credit. However, on the debit side of New York, it is 30. Okay. So for this actuals you are supposed to take directly 1500. Clear? Then managing director salary, not applicable. Let's leave it. Then with respect to branch and HO balances, if you observe in Delhi branch, it is mentioned as 800 debit balance. However, in New York branch, it is credit 15. That means you're supposed to take here directly 800 on the credit. Okay. Now let us see the balances. Totals, let us see. So you have a credit of 14,500. but a debit of 13,942. That means you would have a debit balance here. The debit balance is going to be total of 14,500 minus sum of all the above numbers. Okay. So 558 is the debit balance. What does debit balance mean? It means there is a loss on foreign exchange. Loss on foreign exchange. So this is actually loss on foreign exchange. Loss on foreign exchange. Now we are right now in integrated financial statement, integrated operations. The moment it is integrated operations, any loss or profit will be directly taken to P&L account. Okay. So that means this loss of foreign exchange is supposed to be charged into P&L. Clear? So now that we are done with your trial balance, let us go ahead with preparing trading account, trading P&L account. So I'll open trading P&L account here. We need two columns because we have Delhi and also New York. Okay. Same in case of credit also. Okay. So these are the columns required. Clear? Now, let us start for each of these. In fact, we can add one more column on either sides. That is your total column. Total column also can be added. We will add that also, so that we can go ahead directly to balance sheet later on. Okay. So these are your columns what you have. So I opened it specifically here because so that it will be easy for us to keep churning out. Okay. Keep moving that side and that side. That's all. Now let us start with opening stock to opening stock. Now head office, if you observe, that is Delhi. He has given you some details of head office opening stock. Please see, opening stock is mentioned as 250, right? And New York in Indian rupees, you are supposed to take opening stock, which we have already converted it. It is 1250. Okay, 1250 and 250 is your opening stock. You can combine these together here. Okay. Next, purchases. To purchases, take for Delhi first. Delhi it is 275 mentioned, and for New York, if you observe, you have purchases of 1300. Okay. Again, sum them up. Sum them up. Then what other items do we have? We have something called goods sent to branch here. Okay. So two goods received from Delhi should be taken. Okay. So in Delhi column, nothing would be there. In New York column, it's going to be 1500, which is given here. Okay. Total is going to be the same. Okay. 1500. And then what else do we have? What else do we have? We have wages and salaries. Recollect your CPT. If you have wages and salaries, it comes part of your trading account. If it is salaries and wages, it goes part of your P&L account. Okay. So to wages, it is given as 100 for Delhi, okay, 18, which is in dollars, 936 for New York, okay. So it is 1036, 1036 in total, okay. Apart from this, please see what else do we have. From debit side, if you observe, I think it's all done. Let's move to credit side. We are supposed to take sales, buy sales. Buy sales, let us take credit sales totaling. So sales of Delhi, it is 600, and New York, it is mentioned as, it is 6,500, okay, 6,500. So total comes to 7,100. Then by closing stock, by closing stock with respect to Delhi, he has given in the bottom stating that it is 200, okay, 200 for Delhi. And so by the way, we forgot to take goods sent to New York, yes or no? By goods sent to New York, we are supposed to take in Delhi column, which is 1500, and here it is 0. Total comes to 1500, okay. So closing stock, let us now take. By closing stock, it is 200 for Delhi, and for New York, please see the information given below. He says New York, the value which is there as closing stock is 10, okay. All stocks are received from Delhi only, okay. So 10 into your closing rate is 55. Okay, closing rate is 55. So how much would it be? How much would it be? It is going to be 10 divided by 55, yes or no? So it's going to be 0.55. 10 divided by 55, it's going to be 0.55. So let us take it there. 10 divided by 55. Sorry. Okay. Oh, I think it's 55 divided by 10. Sorry. Yeah. 55 divided by 10. So closing stock for branch, it is actually $10 is the value what I have into 55, which comes to 550. However, if you observe in the question, all numbers are in thousands. Okay, divided by 1000, it becomes 0.55. Okay, so let us take the same 200.55 is what your closing stock is. Now let's go ahead with preparing the gross profit. Okay, so to gross profit, it is going to be this minus sum of all these. Okay, sum of all this. So you have got gross profit here. Same gross profit, let us take down to P&L. Okay, by GP, it's going to be 1675, 1514, and 3189.55. Okay. So this is my gross profit. Now, take up all the expenses which are specifically for the branch, If you look at the trial balance, you have rent, which is specific for each of these branches. You have office expenses, which is specific to each of these branches. Then he says in the bottom, he is stating that provision for doubtful debts is 5%, specific for each of these branches. Depreciation we are supposed to work out. Okay. So these items let us take to rent. Rent, if you see, for holding company, that is your, what do you call, for Delhi, it is 0. However, for branch, you do have some rent. Okay. So for branch, it is 312. So total is going to be 312 only. Okay. So rent is taken. Office expenses are there. To office expenses. Office expenses are 25 and 624. Okay. Both together 649. Clear? Then what else do we have? Commission receipts are there. What is a commission receipt? It's an income. Okay. So take that by commission earned. Commission earned. How much did this fellow get commission? He has got 275. And then for the branch, it is 5,200. Okay. So total comes to, sorry. Total comes to 5475. Clear? Then are there any other expense and incomes? Let us see. Let us see if there is any other expense or income. So loss on foreign exchange is there, but still this is something which goes only to the company as a whole. Okay. Let's not bring it to branches for now. So office expenses are taken care. Commission receipts are taken care. Rent is taken care. Wages are taken care. Director salary is something related to the company as a whole. So it doesn't form part of here. Goods sent to branch is taken care. Purchases, cash does not form part here. Branch stock reserve, let's talk about it a little later. Okay. And then depreciations are there. Let us calculate the depreciation part, what he was mentioning. Okay. Now read through the question once. I'll show you the text here also. Depreciation is to be provided on buildings at 10% and on plant and machinery at 20% on WDVs. That means you are right now given building 1000 minus 200. 800 is the building cost. Okay. So on 800, you are supposed to take 10%. Okay. And same way, plant and machinery, it is 20%. Okay. Plant and machinery, it is 2000 minus 500, which means 1500 is the WDV. On 1500, you are supposed to take 20%. Okay. That means for Delhi alone, it is 380. Okay. But when it comes to New York, you cannot take based on 120. You are supposed to take the Indian converted numbers. Okay. Indian converted numbers should be considered for calculation of depreciation for New York. Okay. So let us do that. I'll put it across here for you. So I'll add few lines to depreciation on building. For Delhi, I'll directly do it. For Delhi, what did he tell you? It is 1000 minus 200. Okay. Into 10%. 80. Okay. Same way For depreciation on plant and machinery, he says it is 2000 minus 500, okay, into 20%, which is 300 for Delhi. Clear? Next, from New York, let us see. In New York, you don't have building at all, so no depreciation. But plant and machinery is there. Let us see what it is. Okay, so plant and machinery, it is 4,500 minus 900. Reserve is there, yes or no? Okay, so both this net off into 20% you are supposed to take 720. Okay, so 720 is for plant and machinery depreciation. Okay, so let us take these two, 80 and 1020. Okay, so total depreciation for the entity as a whole is 1100. Clear? Next, let's go ahead with anything else left over. If you see, he spoke something about provision is to be made for doubtful debts at 5%. Okay, 5% of provision is to be created is what he has stated. Now look at your debtors. Look at your debtors. Debtors in the question are mentioned as how much? So trade receivables is 500 for Delhi and 60 for New York. So 60 converted value you are supposed to take. Okay, so let us do that. To provision for doubtful debts. Okay, so it's gonna be on this we are supposed to take 5% for Delhi. Okay, and for New York it's going to be on 3,300 into 5%. Okay, so 25 and 165 both put together 190 is the amount of provision for doubtful debts. Okay, provision for doubtful debts total. Okay, so apart from this there is nothing else left. There's nothing else left. Let us now go ahead with closing branch wise P&L. Okay, branch wise P&L, let us close. So it's going to be to net profit transferred to actual P&L account, that is company's P&L account. Okay, to P&L it's going to be this minus sum of all your expenses. Okay, so net profit which is transferred to the company is 6,413.55. Okay, 6,413.55. Now this value, let us now bring it down to the company by net profit from branches. From branches, it is going to be 6,413.55. Now, hereafter, we don't need branch columns at all. We don't need branch columns. Directly, we can go ahead and do with only your total column. That's all. Okay. Now, this is your net profit from branches. Keep this aside. You are given couple of special items there. Number one, managerial remuneration. Your director's salary is there. Second, there is exchange loss for the company. I told you in the beginning about it. So since it is an exchange loss, you're supposed to completely bring it down to P&L account because it is integral. So to director's salary. Director's salary, it is directly taken in total column. So let us see how much it is. Managing director salary is 50. Okay. And then 2 exchange loss. Okay. Exchange loss in Forex 558. 558. Okay. So these are the few expenses which are supposed to take and finalize the P&L account. However, now please read a very important part. Very important part. I told you, I'll highlight it here. I told you that this branch stock reserve of 65, I'll talk about it a little later, is what I told you earlier. Now the time has come for it to be spoken about. Okay. Now please see, head office always sends goods to the branch at cost plus 25%. Okay. That means it sends goods to branch at on cost. If it is 100 rupees, it sends to branch for 125 rupees to New York. Okay. So those details are something which are already given to you here. Those details are already given to you here. Now, if you carefully observe, you have a closing balance of stock with you with the New York branch. In New York branch, what is the amount of stock you have? It is just 0.55, which we already took it in. This trading account. Okay, I'm highlighting here 0.55. Now let us do a small working note on this. What is the amount of stock reserve to be maintained for this 55,000 is what we need to see. Already we have stock reserve of 65 with us. Okay, already we have stock reserve of 65 with us. However, we need stock reserve only to the extent of 55,000 of stock. Okay, for that we are supposed to calculate correctly, and balance we can reverse it off. We can reverse it off in the current period. Okay, so let us do a small working note for it. So working note 1, calculation of stock reserve for closing stock with New York branch. Okay. Now particulars and amount. That's all. Only 2 columns. Now what is your closing stock? Closing stock. We will take amounts in thousands only. Okay. So it is basically closing stock is 0.55. 0.55. That means this 0.55 is 125%. Yes or no? This 0.55 is 125%. Now I need what is the profit element in this, which is 25. Okay, which is 25. So stock reserve to be maintained is equal to this into 25 divided by 125, which is 0.11. If I maintain 0.11, that's sufficient. Okay. Opening balance of stock reserve. Stock reserve is given as 65. Okay. I'll link this also so that you'll find it easier. Opening balance of stock reserve is 65. That means reversal of stock reserve to be now made, to be now done, is equal to 65 minus 0.11, which is 64.89 is excessly right now there, which I am reversing off. Okay. So where would I take it? Since it is reversal of stock reserve, that means it is going to get added to my profits. Okay. So go back to your company's P&L by reversal of stock reserve. Take it for the company as a whole. Okay. Take 64.89. Clear? Done. With this, we are done with everything in. We are done with everything here. So let us go ahead and close the account. To net profit. To net profit, how much is it? So it's going to be this minus this minus this. That's all. Clear? So we have got a net profit balance of 5,870.44, which we can directly take to balance sheet. Okay. So this is the solution which he has asked you to do. Clear? I hope you guys understood. Okay. So with this, we are done with all parts of accounts preparation in branch. Okay. I hope this is helpful for you. Any doubts, you can feel free to ask. I'm available now. Yes, guys. All right. So no questions asked. So with this, we'll hold the session for today. Tomorrow, let's start with another topic. Okay. Thank you.